welcome to another episode of GeekastX. I'm Jake.
I'm Sean.
I'm Ronnie.
I'm Stavi.
Yeah, today we have a special guest today. It's I'd like to introduce our newest team member to the GeekastX team. His name's Stavi. He's a pretty cool guy. Let me think of some things to say about him. He has his own podcast. If you want to check that out, it's called Buns Stavi, and over there they talk a lot about like music stuff. They do music review. They do movie stuff. If they're just getting started, so if you want to go ahead and check them out on all the social media sites, just type in Buns Stavi, spelled
N-Z-S-T-A-V-I,
take over.
all one word. And like you said, we just talk music and video games and movies and other kind of stuff that just is coming out. And go ahead and check us out on Twitter and YouTube and Tumblr and SoundCloud and all that nonsense.
Yeah, go show them some love. All right, so also
Thank you for having me. Sorry.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, I was gonna say our Twitter account. So yeah.
Oh, the tweeter.
Yeah, we all have our individual accounts, but then now we have one central account.
For all your GeekastX news.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. But,
no, dude, that's great. So, do you guys, Ronnie or Jake, do you guys want to ask any?
Sure. Stavi, what makes you a geek, my man?
Oh yeah.
Well,
He just loves Star Wars so much.
Oh man, let's not get into that. But well, I guess I could talk about that here in a second. But I guess it started when I was a kid. My dad showed me like the original Superman with Christopher Reeves in it, and I just kind of that got me into superheroes and stuff. And so here more recently, I've gotten more into reading comic books and stuff. But I've always been into watching like superhero movies, and I'm obsessed over them and watch them over and over and stuff, and have a good time with that. And but like he said, my one true geeky, that's where my heart is Star Wars. I saw that for the first time when I was 7 years old, and ever since then I've been watching it. I have all comic books. I have them all on VHS, Blu-ray, DVD. My room is decked out in Star Wars stuff. I have a Star Wars tattoo. That's where
Of what?
It's just on the back of my calf, and it just says "May the Force."
Oh, sweet.
But yeah, and so ever since I was a kid, I just kind of was into the stuff that people would call geeky stuff, and you'd see kids with thick glasses on TV get made fun of, and I was always kind of into that, I guess. And now, I'm 18 now, and I can present it to the world.
I think what you're thinking of are nerds, my friend.
Nerds?
Yeah, we're geeks. Right.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Sean, you had thick glasses and got made fun of too.
No, I got kind of made it cool. I didn't have the thick frame glasses. Mine were always wire framed. But yeah.
I have a pair of fake glasses that I wear sometimes just to fit the look.
Oh yeah, so do I.
But I like those. I just feel like it works out. But yeah, I guess that kind of makes me a geek, and just all things geeky I have a general knowledge on, and I love to just sit back and take it all in. It's awesome to be able to talk about it and stuff now.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah, especially now, you're on our cast, GeekastX, which is super geek and fandom central.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm.
Yeah, right.
I think that's what I'm most excited about you guys inviting me and bringing me onto your guys' podcast. Because my podcast is more music focused and alternative cultures, how the other kid in the podcast describes it. We talk about a series of different things, and I'm excited to be on this podcast so I can just really geek out with a bunch of other geeks, and I'm really excited about it.
Yeah, dude, we're glad to have you aboard. So just really quick, Batman or Superman?
Superman.
Bam!
Ooh.
Oh, come on.
Level in the playing field.
Batman is for sellouts.
That's actually the number one reason why I hired you, my friend.
Did you say?
I'm just
This
kidding.
was planned in advance.
Yeah.
Batman is for the working man, son. Superman is for the... I don't
Better
know.
working man. I don't know.
The people that are,
He's
born with talents and gifts and shit that they never did anything to. So,
I mean, me and Sean know how to use Photoshop, so
That's a talent.
it's like a talent. We are Supermen.
Congratulations, you can work a computer.
Barely.
It's funny.
So we've had this. So we've had the idea and Superman debate for a long time now.
Oh yeah,
which
totally.
we haven't gotten around to, but we should totally get into that sometime in the near future.
You're gonna have to. I'd be more than happy to jump on and defend Superman with Sean, but you're gonna have to give me a little more time. Like I'm more into, like I said, movies and comics, and Sean's giving me a bunch of material to read, and he's like, read this and absorb it and become more geeky.
Yeah. I'm like,
We need more time because there's no good evidence that he isn't better than Batman.
no, I think there's plenty of evidence.
He
But-
can fly.
Oh my.
I mean, that's like the cheap answer, but I mean, like he can fly. I mean, that's kind of pretty badass.
I mean, that's one of my favorite aspects of him.
I
What's
mean-
on the list, guys? Let's get on the list.
I didn't mean to start a debate. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, it's no problem.
You're fine. That's what we do this
Yeah,
podcast.
it's fun to, like, play around. Let me see.
But I mean, Superman is kind of like
Save it. Save
rich
it.
kid that
Save it for another time, man.
Next episode.
I'm excited though.
Okay, real quick before we get on the list.
All right.
Star Wars fan.
Oh yeah, do you guys want to ask him any more questions?
Yeah. What's your favorite movie, dude?
My favorite episode of Star Wars?
Yeah.
5, Empire Strikes Back.
Ah,
Where to go?
my man.
Of the Clone Wars?
Yeah, I was like, oh, my favorite, the one with Darth Maul. That one's really good. No,
Said no one ever.
it's like, yeah, episode one's
the
my
last
favorite.
20 minutes
It's
were the
gone.
best part of that film. We're always like making jokes and stuff at work. Oh my gosh, I wish Sebastian was here for this. But we were talking about how there was a deleted scene in what was it? Episode 2, right?
Yeah, we
Where,
should. Episode 3. We
Oh, it
should
was
have
episode. Yeah.
a deleted scene.
There's a deleted scene in episode 3. Obi-Wan during the fight between Obi-Wan and what's General Grievous. He like gets knocked off into like this ravine where there's like a river. He falls in the river and he goes under and he comes up in some kind of cave. And in the cave he was supposed to see like a very vague looking Force ghost of Qui-Gon. And like have a conversation with him, and like Qui-Gon was supposed to give him a piece of wisdom. And
Yeah,
we're like,
but rather than like being a very calm, like described as like Qui-Gon's really scared, and he's
yeah,
like,
so Obi-Wan, you be Qui-Gon, I'll be Obi-Wan, right? He like
Alright.
he comes out of the water and he's like, he's all wet and stuff. He's like, oh, Qui-Gon,
we don't.
it's so nice to see you again.
Listen, we don't have much time to talk, but you gotta kill the boy. I was wrong. I'm sorry, but listen, he's evil. He's not gonna bring balance to the Force. I was wrong. We should have listened. He's gotta go. You gotta kill the boy. You gotta put him down right now. He's got to go.
It was pretty funny when
Yeah.
he will grow up to have a particular set of skills.
What was the Force Friday thing? They're just selling stuff on
yeah,
sale, or
No,
That's
it
like
was
one of our topics, so we can segue right into it.
yeah.
from
Let's
there.
segue into that. It was
Sure.
the day in which Star Wars, I guess everyone involved with that decided to release the new merch. You know what I mean? So like all the new toys, all the new shirts, all the new cups, mugs, anything. That's they like prior to Force Friday, what they did was worked like I don't know, maybe a month beforehand, cleared all the shelves of all the old Star Wars stuff, all gone for like 2 months, and then on Force Friday they put out all the new stuff. And had like all these sweet deals, like if you go at midnight, you get a free poster, and like you get a free like button or pin or whatever, and you get all these sick deals because you went at midnight.
Yeah. Me and Sean went to Toys R Us and we got a pretty awesome Kylo Ren poster.
Oh yeah, we got this like he's like crouched down and stuff. We got 2 posters. One was of Kylo Ren, and the other one was like coming this October, like all that kind of stuff, like sneak peek.
is that
of
our
the new merch.
villain in the movie?
Yeah, his name's Kylo Ren.
Okay. I don't want to know too much about it before going to go see it.
Okay. We won't tell you that he's
Don't say it. You
Okay,
sound
I'm
like you're
sorry.
gonna say
I just
it.
didn't know
No,
if you already
no.
knew that he was Luke Skywalker's
No,
son.
I don't want to know anything.
Okay, sorry.
Thank you for ruining that. But
I'm just kidding.
yeah.
No, we're lying. I made that up.
Oh, good.
Because he's Han Solo's son. Just kidding.
On top of all like the new toys and
I'm gonna
shirts
kick
and
you in-
everything, there was a new series of literature released.
Oh
by-
yeah. Like kind of like alright.
Is it tied to the movie?
Yeah, it's to hype up the movie and stuff. And it's kind of like Flashpoint, only not Flashpoint. Because remember when they did like the Flashpoint event, and they were all these things that say Journey to Flashpoint. Road to
Heard.
Flashpoint. It was Road to Flashpoint. They're doing something similar where it's called Journey to the Force Awakens, and they have like all these novels, and each one of them has like a little tidbit leading to like some information about things and like how like all these things can tie together. And me and Stavi we at work we read, and I say that in air quotes because we really just listen to audiobooks at work. Because what we do is we've been downloading these Star Wars Journey to the Force Awakens books and listening to them, and they're all pretty good. And we're like listening, and anytime we get a little tidbit from the Force Awakens, it's just like at the very end, what would be like the last 5 pages of the book. It's pretty funny. You're like, yeah, what?
And at the most, it's like you get like a word that you already knew about.
Yeah,
like,
they keep mentioning
the past
Jakku.
one. Yeah, they've which is like the Battle of Jakku is supposed to happen like right after they blow up the Death Star 2 and stuff in Return of the Jedi, and
Yeah,
they keep talking about it, and it's just little tidbits at the end of every book, and you're like, oh, Jakku, and then it's like, thank you for listening.
yeah. What planet is that? It's Jakku. The Force Awakens, and it says this has been a presentation from Audio or Audible or whatever.
Like today, we knocked out an entire book that was like a Princess Leia storyline.
Yeah, it was
So,
called. It was called Star Wars Princess Leia Adventure, a moving target.
Yeah.
And
And,
it was okay. The way it starts off is like one of her protocol droids is like walking up and like, hey, it's time to record your memoirs, and we're like, oh, that's cool. It like takes place after episode 6, and like right after she's talking about that, and then it goes to like this flashback about how she like led into the Battle of Endor, like what happened between like right before she went and like thawed out Han from the carbonite and all that jazz, which happened at the beginning. What?
Excuse me.
Oh,
Bless you,
sorry.
child.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was basically like how like the all this battle stuff that she went through in order to come up with this plan to go free Han from the carbonite, because like it starts off with this flashback being like, oh, is there any word about Han? And Luke's all like, no, I mean they see that there's been reports that Boba Fett's over in this like sector of the whatever galaxy, and at the very very end it turns out it was like a really long time ago flashback, because she talks about Poe Dameron and all that stuff.
But the entire book, it's a Journey of the Force Awakens, so you're expecting like a lot pop off that's like prepping for the Battle of Jakku. The entire book takes place between episodes 5 and 6.
Yeah, and then we finished Aftermath before that, and it was an okay book. It wasn't bad, but like we're like, oh yeah, Aftermath takes place right after the Death Star 2 explodes, right? And it kind of does, but we're like expecting the adventures of Han, Luke, and Leia continued, but it's like a new gang of people, and like there's like 10 characters all together, and it's kind of hard to follow, but it was like a really cool story, because like there's certain parts that were like really funny that shouldn't have been funny, but they were funny because of the narrator. Yeah,
the beauty of like a Star Wars audiobook is that
they're like fully dramatized, like
like there's sound effects, there's they're going off ambient, like humming in the background when all they're doing is like flying through space.
Yeah, or like let's say we're talking right now, like, oh, and they were in a crowd, and you'll hear like a crowd in the background, and, like it's really cool.
And then just the dramas. I thought it was a solid voice actor, for the most part.
Yeah, he did the voice of Wolverine, the guy who does the narration of the. You alright, man? The guy
Who are you talking to?
You. It sounded like you were sneezing again.
Oh no.
Okay, sorry. All right.
It was just a really scary noise. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, I heard it like a.
Yeah. I don't know either. I
Okay,
just
so anyway.
haven't moved that entire time.
So alright, so anyway, the voice actor was the guy who does the voice of in the Astonishing X-Men cartoon, I guess.
And he
did
you said he
really
did
good.
Casey Jones?
Yeah, he did Casey Jones on the newest, or not the newest, not the CG Ninja Turtles, but on the like flash forward.
The one that used to be on like Saturday mornings?
Yeah, on WB.
Yeah. But those were interesting, and I'm surprised they didn't move me and Sean at work like we were in high school again and made us like move around because we were laughing so hard at all this. All these things that weren't that funny, but I really enjoyed both those books so far.
In that book, there's this robot, and he's a B1 battle droid, and this kid, his name's Temin.
Bones.
Yeah, well, no,
Oh,
the kid's
Bones
name is Temin. Yeah, Bone.
Yeah.
The droid's name is Bones. The kid's name is Temin, and Temin built Bones to like be his bodyguard, because in high school or whatever that equivalent is in the Star Wars universe is, he was like get his butt kicked all the time. Because his dad was arrested and like his mom went left to fight in the war.
The Rebel Alliance.
Yeah, and she was a pilot. And so Bones is like the psychopathic robot, and like there are certain scenes where like he has like a code word that he says to Bones to make him pop up, and like he's like, Mr. Bones, wake up please or whatever, and like he wakes up and there's like all these surrounding Temin, and like before one of them has time to like raise his gun, he's like already been like it says Mr. Bones strikes the stormtrooper 3 times before he has any time to raise his rifle, and like some kind of ion blade it says, and like the other one is just like a fist.
Yeah.
Like
it's interesting, and I'm kind of hoping I'm really hoping that they do something with that within the trilogy that is built of the Aftermath series that's coming out, because I just can't imagine that in a Star Wars movie. Like, dude, there are parts of this Star Wars book. Yeah, but there's parts of this Star Wars book where I was like, man, like Star Wars. This feels like, and I think what makes me the most upset about it is it's like they had a lot of like political Star Wars stuff rather than just Star Wars lightsabers and all that stuff.
Right. Like a lot of controversy on it because one of the main characters is gay.
Yeah.
And a lot of people were like, "What's up with that? You can't do that. It's Star Wars. Why are you doing that?" And like, it
wouldn't that even be a thing? Like, why would you even focus on that?
Exactly. Like, this is Star Wars.
Does that make?
You're focusing on something negative.
Yeah, but the thing about it is like, before I even read the book or listened to the book with Sean, I saw like on Twitter and Facebook and through like different Star Wars sources were freaking out like, why did they put a gay character in Star Wars? So lame. And it's really just mad people on like their keyboards and stuff freaking out. But
they make it sound like in the book he like blows another guy, but he doesn't.
Yeah,
it's like the way that you find out he's gay is like there's a bounty hunter who's a female alien bounty. Like they're like walking down the hall after they're like close to completing the mission or whatever. And she turns to him, and is like, "Okay, you are adequate. I will be with you." And he's like, "What?" And he goes, copulate. And he's like, "Oh no, I'm not into this." And she's like, "What? You're not into aliens?"
Like making it kind of seem like, "Oh, you racist bastard." But
yeah,
no, it's not.
Yeah. Oh no, I'm perfectly fine with aliens. I'm not into women. And then there's like this awkward silence, and they're like, "Oh, okay," and they just keep walking.
Alright everybody, we're going to stop for a moment to do some plugs about social media around the web and all the awesomeness at GeekastX. For all the awesome news and entertainment around the web. So you can find us on Facebook at GeekastX in the search bar. You can find us on YouTube, type in GeekastX in the search bar. That's the first place you can find the show before iTunes. And lastly, you can go to iTunes and search GeekastX. And make sure to leave a review to let us know how we're doing or how terrible we are. And also, check out Nerd Overload for more shows and content about all things geek around the web.
And that's literally like gay controversy that is in this book.
Yeah.
And people like, I think Sebastian kind of told me at work though. He was like, he just doesn't think that there should be that kind of like politics in Star Wars because like
Yeah,
why put like real world politics into a Star Wars book? And I think the only reason they did that is because it's like it's a real thing that's going on, and it doesn't affect the story. It doesn't change anything.
Yeah.
When the voice actor was like voicing the character that was gay, he like did a British voice. So I looked at
he had like this. He had like a really like kind of posh English accent.
yeah. So I like looked at Sean. And I was like, he's not gay. He's British.
Yeah.
But it was interesting, and like that part finally happened. And I remember just pausing the book and looking at Sean. And I was like, that's it. Part of me was hoping that he would blow a dude or something.
I expected something crazy.
But other than the books that came out, my favorite piece of like new Star Wars literature, if you want to call it that, that we got is the new Marvel comic book, Marvel Shattered Empire, which is another piece of the journey to Star Wars: The Force Awakens, and it takes place right after the Battle of Endor, which I think is pretty cool. Like literally, the opening scene is Darth Vader and Skywalker fighting. And it introduces a couple new characters that you find out are like in love or whatever, and they thought that they lost each other like while they were fighting, like because they were both X-wing pilots attacking the Death Star, and you think they lost each other, but they get back to Endor for like the post, like yo, we blew up a space station.
You remember when like they're hanging out with the Ewoks and like the Nub-Nubs and Wicket are like setting off fireworks and playing bongos, but they're not bongos, they're stormtrooper helmets.
Yeah, like in the movie, yeah. It kind of picks up from there, introduces them, and then Han Solo's like, we're not done yet, and I'm excited to see where the rest of that book goes, and I think it's supposed to be a 4-piece series. Sorry, I just kind of took over right there. It's not my podcast. I feel bad.
No, you're alright, man. It happens all the time.
We should move on now.
What?
What's on the list?
That was on the list.
In front of me.
Stephen Amell on SummerSlam.
Oh yeah, that was interesting.
Yeah, I watched that.
Oh,
I watched
awesome.
and all the previous episodes that are leading up to it as well.
I'm not really big into wrestling, so like I only watched the stuff that Stephen Amell would post, and then when it happened, I watched it happen.
I used to watch wrestling
Really?
a lot when I was younger, and then I just kind of grew out of it, like slowly stopped watching it. And then I found out Stephen Amell was on it, so I'm like, oh, I gotta watch this now. Like, I don't care if it's only like 2 episodes, but I gotta watch them. But
that part where he wasn't like in the main audience, and
he was invited by the CEO Triple H to come down and have like front row seats and watch the show. And there was some kind of like
Altercation?
Yeah, altercation where Stardust was making fun of him, and he came down and got in his face and then put off his chair and he hit the ground, and then Stephen Amell just kind of like blew up, jumped the barricade, got into the ring, just beating him up, and it took like three of the bodyguards to get Stephen Amell off Stardust.
See, I didn't really like follow that like too much. Like I was the same. I'm like this in the same situation. I watched wrestling like a lot when I was a kid, and I'm currently rocking like the free WWE Network trial because whenever me and my friends are hanging out, and we're bored. We just like watch old wrestling matches, and it's a good time. But I remember we watched that kind of like briefly, just like while we were talking. It was just kind of playing in the background, and the only thing that made me upset about that is like I haven't watched like all of Arrow, but I've seen that's what Stephen Amell is from, right?
yeah,
Arrow. Yeah. See, I haven't.
He's from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles too.
Oh darn.
which isn't out yet.
I know, but I remember just thinking like, oh, that's the dude like from Arrow. I feel like like obviously it's just like a big plug for like, hey WWE fans, you should check out Arrow. But it's like you could have like at least let him punch like John Cena or like Brock Lesnar or somebody that's like a big wrestler.
Well, I think it was more for
Goldust.
Steven. I think it was more for Steven because he loves wrestling and he's not shy about saying how much he loves it.
Oh, okay. See, I didn't know that.
Well, they weren't gonna do that because John Cena already had a big match set
That's
up
right.
for
That's
a title match, and then Brock Lesnar had a
the Undertaker fight.
Yeah, had a Taker for like a rematch from WrestleMania.
Yeah, that's
Brock
right.
Lesnar still does the WWE?
He like
He left for a while, and then he came back, and he was like, "Oh, I'm the Beast, and I'm back, and I'm going to like kill everybody."
yeah, but the thing is, like, they brought him back because he's like, oh, I guess I can't do UFC anymore. So they were like, oh yeah, you're more than welcome to come back. And then, like,
So.
yeah, because he's like old, so like all old wrestlers kind of I feel like go back, like Ric Flair and Bret Hart and stuff. And
Yeah,
he
and
went
Hulk
back.
Hogan and
Yeah,
Right.
Rock.
While the Undertaker was getting really old, you could just tell, and he was
Yeah, I
starting
was
to
like-
age. And so he would like disappear, and then he'd only come back for WrestleMania like a week or two before WrestleMania, and then he'd go away again, and it would just
Yeah.
be like little blips of him.
I was watching.
I don't know anything about wrestling except for
Oh,
Stephen
Same.
Amell was pretty
Yeah.
BA. Brian
I
thought
don't really watch
Brian was saying,
WWE,
dude,
but I
that
do
scene.
Stephen Amell.
Yeah, Brian was like, oh, dude, the scene where he like jumps off and like tackles those two guys was so sick. I'm like, no way. My favorite scene was when like Stardust like pushes him and then he just like straight up Spartan kicks him in the chest. And he
Yeah,
like
that
flies
was
across the
awesome.
ring. I'm like, that was sick.
I liked it when he speared him, because that's usually a thing that another wrestler does named Edge, and he like it was just really awesome. He just took him down and he knocked all the wind out of him.
It's
Yeah.
definitely
Anybody think
interesting.
that his little like tag team partner, that little Neville
Neville?
guy?
Oh my,
That
Neville's
was the
cool,
weirdest looking dude I've
I
ever
hear-
seen.
but he's
Yeah.
weird. He's very weird.
I hear the word. I hear that Neville, and
He
I
looks
think
like he
like
hasn't showered in
Neville
months.
Longbottom from Harry Potter. So it's like all I could think of partner.
I don't know why they call him the Red Arrow, but I guess that's his nickname
Yeah.
or something.
That
that was
I
that was
honestly
the whole
didn't
promo
even.
thing they were doing.
Yeah, I didn't really follow any. I was kind of confused during the thing. Like I said, I like kind of vaguely watched it, but I was really confused about what was going on like the whole time.
It
It was
interesting.
basically like, since Stephen Amell's the Green Arrow, they had to have the Red Arrow, so it would be the tag team, like superhero sidekick kind of thing.
I think they could have done it. I don't know. Did you guys see how like Stone Cold Steve Austin's getting all mad about it?
No.
Yeah,
No, I didn't see that.
was around.
yeah, he was getting mad. He's like, that should have been a real match because clearly they were just being actors and stuff. I'm like, isn't that the whole point of like, wrestling?
Exactly.
Acting? What?
Yeah.
Huh?
Right.
Whoa.
Like
No
Stone
one
Cold's
thinks
all
it's
mad about
real.
it. It's like Stone Cold, you never really punched anybody in the face. Chill out.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, the
Right,
only
how
time I
much-
could say it was partially real was when it was WWF, but it was still acting.
Yeah, but that's when it was cool because you had like Stone Cold and like the Hardy Brothers, and they were like doing. Oh yeah, they were doing like crazy stuff, like jumping off
Crazy
ladders. Now
stuff.
there's nothing cool. Nobody even bleeds really in WWE
Yeah.
except.
In WWF, I remember Mick Foley took this like this club, wrapped it in wire, and like pushed it against someone's face and like made them all bleed and stuff. And
Oh yeah, and like when
All the stuff.
Undertaker threw Triple H off the. Undertaker threw Mick Foley off the Hell in a Cell back in like '97.
yeah,
That's when wrestling
all
was
the way
like.
up, all the way down to the ground. It's like they used to do stunts where people could seriously get injured, and now people, like, if they're gonna fall off a ladder, it's like really slow, and you could see the opponents like basically holding it down so they can get down safely.
It's ridiculous. It's way lame now.
Yeah. So that was
It's
basically
it's
just
like half the show's talking.
That's like a publicity stunt for Arrow. And speaking of Arrow, even though we were, did you guys see that season 4 promo?
Yes, very good.
Oh, they got a
We all saw
trailer?
it. Moving on. Yeah, you didn't see that?
No, I didn't. Was it good?
Yeah, it was pretty
Do we
cool.
see anything new?
We see Constantine was on there for a split second.
Right.
White Canary.
Yeah, White Canary, but that's all part of the
Mhm.
Legends of Tomorrow or whatever.
Yeah, all leading up to it.
Yeah.
But
But
still,
what about Diggle?
You don't see anything about Diggle's new character.
Okay. I think
But
it's
then, like, They've
DC's
teased-
version of Magneto.
Yeah, we've seen that poster. Black Nito. What else is there in that trailer? He's wearing a green hoodie, like, you know how Roy used to wear the red hoodie all the time? Oh, you see Speedy. Speedy,
Yes, Speedy.
Speedy, Black Canary, and Diggle have been, like, taken care of. It's called Star City now. And I guess it says, like,
Mhm.
in memory of, what's his name? Ray Palmer, because they think he died. And, like,
He's just really small.
yeah, and then there's all that kind of stuff going on. I've seen
Oh,
like the
that's cool.
producers have been teasing a lot of Green Lantern stuff and say, well, you might see a ring, in the season premiere. And I'm like, yeah, he's gonna propose to Felicity. Like, we're not stupid. We're not gonna fall for that.
Yeah, I don't think that they should tease the Green Lantern stuff.
Yeah, there was
To be honest.
what it was
Because
a
it's
poster
like-
for
it's
Central
like-
City.
Wants to see that team up, but they can't do it. It's not like they have the funding or anything even close to do that.
Right. I mean,
And
I
it's
love
like,
I love the
do it
Flash.
like this.
I love the Flash, but the special effects are like, if those are what you're gonna do Green Lantern with,
You can't.
save it for later.
So that's where I kind of feel like it's a little bit wrong, is because both those characters have like very, very like close ties to GL, and like you keep teasing that stuff, it's and
I think
it's
it's
like,
just
oh,
fun
you're
for
never gonna
fans.
have it, but I don't know. It's just me.
Yeah, and the teaser for the Flash season 2, which is pretty cool. They have like they've been teasing the the Jake Garrick Flash 2 Worlds is this season's theme or whatever, and they're gonna have Zoom is gonna be back, but it's gonna be, I'm guessing, Zolomon, and then they got the guy who plays Candyman to do the voice of Zoom, and then they've been teasing. I'm guessing the other Earth that Jake Garrick is from is like obviously in the past, because they show some characters who are like dressed in like old-timey clothes and old-timey haircuts. Yeah. And the Flash has a new costume. That's kind of cool. Oh yeah, Arrow has a new costume too. He's gonna be going by the Green Arrow. That's what they say in the teaser. Actually, remember, he's like, Ronnie, you saw it, right? Remember, he's like, if the Arrow's dead, who are you supposed to be? And he goes, why don't you wait and find out?
Yeah, I like the new costume. It looks a lot more like the costumes that you see on Justice League and all the cartoons.
Justice, R.I.P. And the new villain guy is named Damien Dark.
Ooh, while we're talking about while we're on the subject of Arrow, this week is Columbus Comic Con, and Sean, Brian, and I all went last year.
Stavi's coming with us this year.
Are you really?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I'll be there. I'll be there with my brother, but I'll be kicking it with you guys. Wait, what?
Dude, on, man.
We're
Let's all just
cosplaying.
be thankful we didn't buy a photo from Manu Bennett after he just got arrested for.
We went and we wanted to get a
lovely.
photo with him, but he was charging
Right.
it was either $60 or $80, and
Ah,
he punched a dude at a party.
Yeah.
What's like
What's his
porn
name?
stash too.
Manu
Bennett.
Manu Bennett. That's pretty cool. To the Flash thing, one thing that they teased was the
Somebody
Flash
else's
signal.
thunder.
How do you feel about that Flash signal, Jake?
Hmm?
How do you feel about the Flash signal in season 2 of Arrow? Or I mean, season 2 of the Flash. Have you not seen the Flash signal?
I have not. Is it like the
Yes.
bat signal?
Yeah, with a lightning bolt.
I mean, that's kind of cool.
Oh,
got nothing
dude,
against
one thing they heavily teased was Atom Smasher. And it's cool because he grows.
Oh,
Yeah, it's gonna be cool.
interesting.
So what else is there on the list?
Vixen.
What?
Vixen.
Talk about that. What is that?
Oh yeah,
Vix-
the C.
It's on CW and Vixen and the. What's that? I didn't hear that. She is she's Marie McCabe. I don't think I'm saying that right. But she has these superpowers that allow her to take on the attributes of animals, so she can run really fast like a cheetah, or have the strength of an elephant, and use all these different abilities to her advantage. And she does it by touching a pendant on her necklace.
Do you guys know if they're rebooting the Marvel Universe again?
Rebooting?
I don't know. I don't know. I was gonna get into it after you guys were done talking about Vixen, but I don't know. Marvel has a bunch of new stuff coming out this month, and I was just gonna kind of go into it if you guys didn't mind, because I mean,
Are we talking comics or movies?
comic. Because in the new Star Wars comic book, there's a centerfold, and not a centerfold, but a bunch of new comic books coming out, and
That was
a new Spider-Man 2099, new Invincible Iron Man.
That wouldn't be surprising at all because they just did all those character changes, and now would be the time to like reset the norm.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean. I was gonna maybe mention that if like you guys didn't mind or whatever.
Go for it, man.
Because I figured, hey, that's geeky.
Okay, so what did you see, man?
Just this in the new Shattered Empire book that came out. There's like a fold in the middle with a bunch of Marvel comic books coming out next month. And I'm not sure because I haven't been actually, but I know there's a bunch of new character changes, like you said, and I think Sean told me that they like are rebooting it or something. But what's featured in here is you got an Extraordinary X-Men #1 coming, a Star Wars series dedicated specifically to Chewbacca, which I think will be kind of odd and hard-key. A Spider-Gwen series, a Spider-Woman series, a Silk series, a reboot to the Spider-Man 2099 series, a new Iron Man series, Invincible Iron Man #1 and #2 come out next month, and just a bunch of cool stuff like that, but along with a continuation of all the other Star Wars books that they have out right now, and I just kind of saw that and thought I would share it because it's not really what my cast talks about.
Right. They do all these little funny tricks because they can pretty much sell, comics, so they do all these funny little things to, like make a woman, Just,
yeah, this is like the second. Yeah, it's weird. I just got into comic books, and I would say about February or January of like this year, and I remember like when I first started like getting into them in January, there was a new Spider-Gwen series out, and they're like rebooting it already, and I'm like, what are you guys doing? Work or is just it short-lived?
Well, like what happens is they will. So years ago, when Sean and I were in high school, DC did this thing where they called it the New 52, and they released 52 issues, and they kind of just started everything back to the beginning, except for Batman. Batman kept going, but they started everything back to the beginning and just kind of modernized it. Marvel did like the same thing with the Marvel Now, and then I can't really follow the Marvel process. Falcon as
Captain America.
Captain Falcon.
Bald Eagle.
Is that what they call him?
America. I don't know if you guys read that series or not. I think it's only like there's like a 4-book series about that. It's pretty interesting. I enjoyed it.
Yeah. I am currently trying to get through a lot of Deadpool stuff right now.
Yeah,
for that movie.
Sean hooked me up with the Trilogy recently, and I've been kind of browsing through that a bit.
If you are interested in that, go to like comicmad.com. They have like tons of
Not a
Deadpool.
sponsor.
They have other stuff too. I wish they were a sponsor, but
It is
6 months
sponsor.
because it's all illegal, I think. But they like streams comics.
Oh, that's kind of.
The most they have of anything is Deadpool, but they do have other stuff on there too.
See, Sean hooks me up with like a lot of like digital download. For me, comic books, I'm all about like holding the comic stuff. I don't know why. I don't know if it's just like that. But like all my comic books, like I have a stack sitting right in front of me, and I'm just like, ooh, I love it.
I'm always telling Stavi about Jake's room and like how the border of his room is comic books.
That's awesome.
All my comic books are in a tote.
Yeah, mine are all in an Under Armour shoebox with the top ripped off.
Wow.
Dude, honestly, a lot of mine aren't worth a lot, so I'm not gonna get there.
Yeah, I don't think I have any that are like worth anything. Maybe like the Star Wars #1 that came out this year. I know like the first print of that is going for like $35 right now, and I have a first print of that sealed. But other than that, I don't think I have anything that's like worth anything. I'm not really interested in selling them though. It's like I like to go back and read them and stuff.
I don't really have a whole lot of comics. I mostly do like PDF files on the computer and things like that. But I don't have a whole lot. I have a couple, but I would like some more. They're always nice to just have in your hand and to read.
Yeah. my babies. Like, I'll let my. Oh yeah. You have the Wolverine #1. Sean told me about that. I saw an Action Comics #1. Like that's Batman #1, right? Like that's the first appearance of Batman.
No, that's Superman. Action Comics.
Okay, well I saw like the first appearance of Batman, and it was
Detective Comics 27.
Yeah, that must have been what it was, and I knew what it was. Like looking at it, I was like, hey, that's Batman, and I asked the guy, like, I wasn't obviously like in the market to buy it, but I was like curious because there's no like price tag on it. And he told me he sold it, like, it had like a 9.6 rating, you know how you can send it in and get it rated and they'll send it back to you. It had like a 9.6, and I was like, holy hell, like, how much did you sell that for? Because it had like a sold sticker, but like no price sticker. And he had told me it was like upwards of like 10 grand. And I was like, Jesus, Mary and Joseph, you gotta be, like, be super, like, doing something right to be able to buy that. I don't know if he was just blowing smoke and being like, oh yeah, like, sold it for like upwards of 10 grand, or if he like actually sold it for like 10 grand. But it was still like interesting.
They go for that expensive.
Jake, do you remember we were walking and like I had to like stop and be like, whoa guys, whoa, look.
Yeah, that's what I was just talking about. You walked away and I was trying to ask you if
I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I had to take care of Sloan. That
You're
darn
fine.
baby. And did you talk about, you have the first, like, is it the first issue of Wolverine, like the first standalone?
Yeah, I was explaining to him about how the Wolverine that like you think of when he has like the claws out and he's like giving you the finger.
Yeah, it was
But that's from like a limited edition series. You know, they only did 4 of those, but the one I have is like the first one that started for the next 20 years.
Sebastian,
All right,
I took care of that shit. Alright, Geeks, catch you next time.
Somebody else.
Alright, cool.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of GeekastX.
Thanks for having me. I don't.
Welcome to the
Whatever.
team, Stavi.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me. If you want to hear more from me, you can check out my podcast, Bun Stavi.
They just released their second episode yesterday, and we're on YouTube.
Yeah, we're officially on YouTube now, which is pretty cool.
It's new. Alright, guys.